What's up, fight fans? Welcome back to Sportskeeda MMA News. Everyone's favorite Stockton Slapper, Nate Diaz, dropped the date for his next fight, and maybe a hint as to who his next opponent might be. Rogan and Khabib Nurmagomedov both implore Uncle Dana to give Islam Makhachev the next title shot. Conor McGregor and Dustin Poirier roast Justin Gaethje after getting choked out by Charles Oliveira. Conor McGregor trolls Tony Ferguson after getting turned into a chicken nugget, and Michael Chandler speaks about the vicious knockout and has a message for Paddy Pimblett. All this and more on today's edition of Sportskeeda MMA News. If you see any of your favorite fighters mentioned in today's video, make sure to blast that like button. Let's get started. Remember when Uncle Dana accidentally leaked some of the upcoming matches? Well, it turns out that almost all of them are true. Stockton's own Nate Diaz just announced the date of his next fight, and it's only 2 months out. Diaz recently tweeted this: July 30th, 170 pounds. This would be Diaz's first fight in over a year after getting dominated by Leon Edwards back at UFC 263. Recently, according to the leaked matchups, Diaz was slated to fight the undefeated Khamzat Chimaev in the co-main event spot at UFC 276. Diaz's fight date now points us to UFC 277, where a possible Jones vs Stipe Miocic main event might take place. Former double champion Conor McGregor, who is 1-1 against Diaz, reacted to his announcement. "Are you getting smart, you fat, skinny tick?" Then, Nate Diaz's translator tweeted that the trilogy fight with McGregor is on and advised McGregor to make sure his leg is in tip-top shape. McGregor replied with, "Strapped, bro. Cigar jellies." While there is no confirmation yet as to who his next opponent could be, Diaz himself called out two worthy opponents. Khamzat and Conor are on the injured list, so I don't know why they're talking when they're broken. Diaz is referring to McGregor's injury sustained in his trilogy fight against Dustin Poirier back at UFC 264. McGregor has been sidelined for almost a year, but has made it clear he wants his return fight to be a chance at triple weight gold against pound-for-pound king Kamaru Usman. The 2013 Diaz shocked the world before when he submitted McGregor at UFC 196, and now he plans to do it again against another high-value target. What do you think? Who would you like to see Diaz fight? Leave a comment down below and you might be featured in tomorrow's video. Charles Oliveira is an absolute savage. After experiencing a snafu on the weight scale which cost him his UFC title, Oliveira reminded every single MMA fan that he is still the people's champion. Oliveira choked out Justin Gaethje at UFC 274, disposing of him faster than even the great Khabib Nurmagomedov. Oliveira then celebrated his victory by calling out none other than Conor McGregor. But Khabib Nurmagomedov thinks differently. Now that the UFC lightweight belt is vacant, Oliveira is obviously the #1 contender. Khabib knows exactly who Oliveira's opponent should be next. Here's what the lightweight GOAT said on Twitter. "Is there really a more interesting duel in the UFC at the moment than Islam versus Charles? Just bring these fighters to Abu Dhabi on October 22nd. Let the undisputed champion be determined. Makhachev MMA, UFC, Dana White." Then Khabib followed that up with a serious question to Uncle Dana. Why does Islam Makhachev have to do a contender fight if there's no champion in this division? At UFC and Dana White. UFC commentator and iconic podcaster Joe Rogan completely agrees with Khabib, so much so that Dana White told reporters at Saturday's post-fight press conference that Rogan pulled him aside and advised him to book Makhachev versus Oliveira next. Now that Khabib no longer reigns supreme over this division, many fans wonder if Oliveira is good enough to have handed Khabib his first loss in MMA. Islam Makhachev might be the only fighter who can whet our appetites for that dream matchup. The 33-8 Charles Oliveira has now finished Michael Chandler, Dustin Poirier, and Justin Gaethje in less than a year, which extends his win streak to 11 in a row. The 22-1 Makhachev is on his own winning streak at 10, most recently disposing of Bobby Green and Dan Hooker with first-round finishes. Do you think Islam Makhachev is Oliveira's toughest test? What happens when you call Charles Oliveira a quitter, and Oliveira makes you tap in less than a round? Well, you get roasted. And that's exactly what happened to Justin Gaethje. At UFC 274, Gaethje suffered his second loss by submission in 2 title fights, the first one being to Khabib Nurmagomedov. Conor McGregor decided to kick Gaethje while he was down and said this on Twitter. "Gaethje is a The amount of absolute dribble he speaks as well, over and over. A grade A A bird brain with a bird brain manager. Two twats they are. He is a Steve-O, crackhead in recovery, should see can Johnny give him apart. And followed up with, at Johnny Knoxville, Johnny Knoxville, have them eat goat. Dustin Poirier decided to take a shot at Gaethje as well and basically welcomed him to the getting choked out in title fights club. And then took the opportunity to fire at McGregor. Whipped the both yas. Now that the lightweight division is seeing momentum, the shit-talking is getting fiercer. But can you really expect different from McGregor? During the historic UFC 274 main event, Poirier told fans that he is better than both Oliveira and Gaethje, despite getting choked out at UFC 269 by Oliveira. The 28-7 Poirier is still the #1 contender, and since he fought for the title back in December, there's a good chance he gets a rematch with Gaethje for a title eliminator. But what do you think? Do you think Conor is going to waltz right into a title shot against Oliveira? The UFC can now proudly add another NFT knockout to its small collection. Well, at least Frankie Edgar can take a breather. MMA fans unfortunately had to witness one of their favorite fighters in Tony Ferguson get brutally knocked out by Michael Chandler at UFC 274. This is now Ferguson's 4th consecutive loss after going on a 12-fight rampage of the lightweight division and convincing fans that he would be Khabib Nurmagomedov's toughest fight. After the vicious knockout, Conor McGregor of course felt the need to get a jab in and said this in since deleted tweets. Tony had some great nuggets in the media build-up, then he got punt kicked in the chin and got turned into a nugget himself. That's crazy. If you pulled that out of a McDonald's bag, you'd dip it in sauce and eat it without a moment's thought. No doubt, that would pass as a legit McDonald's chicken nugget. That's crazy. McGregor then upped the ante and tweeted some pictures that resembled Tony's face during the knockout. The 25-7 Tony Ferguson is one of the biggest what-if stories in the UFC. What if he decided to not fight Justin Gaethje and instead waited for Khabib? What if he never got injured and actually fought Khabib when the fight was booked 5 times? The world will never know. What do you think? Do you think McGregor is going too far with dissing Tony? While you're still here, subscribe to Sportskeeda MMA and hit that bell. And last but not least, the man who put Tony Ferguson to sleep at UFC 274, Iron Michael Chandler, might actually be the most exciting lightweight in the division. Since knocking out Dan Hooker in his debut, Michael Chandler took the UFC by storm with his charisma and his balls-to-the-wall fighting style that always leaves fans on the edge of their seats. After delivering a destructive front kick that completely stiffened Ferguson, Chandler took to the mic and called for a rematch with Charles Oliveira and Justin Gaethje, and then called out Conor McGregor for a fight at 170 pounds. Here's what Chandler had to say about his highlight reel KO.
Interesting. I mean, it's kind of like the sweet spot of the bat. Most of the time when you land those big punches or that, big toe kick at this point, it doesn't feel like a loud thud or a hard thud. It just kind of landed. Yeah, I guess you could call it amazing, but it's a little scary.
Then Chandler decided to support a fellow MMA lightweight superstar in Paddy Pimblett, who has completely captured the hearts of all MMA fans after finishing his first 2 UFC fights in impressive fashion.
Listen, because people are going to hate on him because he's boisterous and he's loud. Listen, I know y'all love Paddy Pimblett. I'm a fan of Paddy Pimblett. So I'm excited to see him have all his success. There's enough out there for all of us to have a ton of success. Get all the lights, all the platform, all the money. Don't hate on a guy just because he's crushing it.
Paddy the Batty reacted to Chandler's words. "Thank you, my man. Pleasure to watch you fight the other night." The 23-7 Chandler is a former 3-time Bellator lightweight champion and dared to become a UFC champion at UFC 62 until Charles Oliveira put that dream to rest. Now, Chandler's champ dreams might be inching closer to reality after producing one of the greatest knockouts in UFC history on a man that has never been finished cleanly. What's next for Michael Chandler? That about does it for Sportskeeda MMA news. Here are some of the best comments from today. Islam versus Charles is the most logical matchup. The guy is literally there to earn the title fight. Does McGregor's opinion even matter though? Michael Chandler is a beast, and that was the greatest front kick in UFC history. If you like this video, please like, comment, and share. Your comments could be featured in the next Sportskeeda MMA news video. We always deliver daily content, so make sure you subscribe and hit that bell so you don't miss out on anything going on in the MMA world. For updates, quotes, and exclusive interviews from all your favorite fighters, follow Sportskeeda MMA on Twitter and Instagram. Thank you for tuning in.